Hey, everybody, it's Anasa back for another conversation about love. Okay, I'm excited about this conversation because it was a huge breakthrough for me to do all the thinking that I had to do to be able to actually have this conversation with you. I actually think I maybe even thought about it too long, but that's another story for another day. So, we've been talking about love for a few months now. And I know that there's lots of conversations happening all over the world about love and being loving and all that kind of stuff. And I realized that in listening to these conversations, I actually hadn't heard anyone talk about what they actually mean by love. So the conversations that we're having and the questions that I'm hoping that we can answer together is, how do you live love? But if we're not on the same page about what love actually is, then I don't think that we're going to get very far, very fast at all. So I figured the best thing for me to do was come up with a working definition for us so that we at least could be on the same page about what we're talking about. So I did a lot of thinking and writing and talking to other people, and I think I came up with something that was really simple and very clear, and I've been experimenting with it, and I like it. I like where it's going, so I was ready to bring it to you. So I wanted to tell you so we can just see how it feels for us, right? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm excited. Okay, here it is. Love, as defined by me, Anasa Troutman, is engaging in action that honors your connections. In other words, it's behaving in a way that's appropriate based on your connections that you have to someone or something. That's simple, right? Clear? You got it? Right. Well, the thing that gets tricky is in that part about the connections and honoring the connections is like, how do you get to the point when you can clearly acknowledge those connections and really see them for what they authentically are? Yeah, that is the hard part. So I actually think if you take the definition even further, then you'll see that how you love and how you're able to honor those connections actually are based on your fundamental worldview. So if you're a person that believes that life is connected, all life's connected, and that we're all one, or you're a person who believes that life is singular and that people go through life, kind of on their own trying to make it, then that dictates how you see love. Both of those people, both the one who thinks that we're connected and the one who thinks that we're separate, can profess to hold love as a central value, but the very being of how they love will show up differently depending on how they see themselves in the web of life. You know what I mean? Okay, so confession, if you hadn't guessed by now, I'm one of those people who believe that we're all connected. If you're not, you know that I love you. I told you that before, and it's all good. But if you want to be convinced, or if you're open to being convinced, there's actually a lot of scientific and spiritual evidence that says that we are all connected. And there's some movies I want to tell you about really quickly, so in case you want to see them. One is called What the Bleep, and the other one is called I Am. And I Am is actually directed by Tom Shadyac, who is a, big Hollywood director. He directed Liar Liar and a bunch of other Jim Carrey movies and The Nutty Professor and Patch Adams and Robin Williams. He's like a big, Jugandi, humongoloid Hollywood guy. But anyway, those movies are really awesome. They'll give you some information that you maybe didn't have before. You should watch them and holler at me and see what you think. I want to know if you're convinced. Anyway, if you are like me and you're a person who believes that all life is connected, then we have to ask the question, are we engaging in loving action that honors that belief that life is connected? Of course, the closer you feel to someone, the more deeply you know one, the better you feel about someone, the more closely connected you feel. It's easier to be clear about what loving action looks like. But that loving action is complicated when people are further away. You don't really know them, or if you do know them really well and you have bad feelings toward them, what do you do? How do you know if your fundamental beliefs are connected to the way that you're acting? What is like the baseline of loving action that is dictated by the fact that you feel like you're connected to every person on the entire planet? What courtesies should you be extending to everyone, even if you don't even know that they exist? What about the people that you see every day and you don't know their name or never heard their voice, or you're connected to them? So what does that action look like? That connection is a little bit deeper than maybe people who you don't know exist. So what's the difference between how you treat that person you see every day and the person that you'll never see, that you'll never, ever, ever, ever see? Anyway. Oh, what about people who you know really well and you have bad feelings toward them? And there's ways that you want to act that maybe are not so loving, but how do you honor those feelings and still honor like the baseline fundamental? You're still connected to that person too, even if you don't like what they've done or like who they are, or don't agree with their opinions. Anyway, so I don't have the answer to these questions. You know that I don't really know, but what I do know is the way to find out is by practicing. So one of the things that I've been doing that I want to encourage you to do is I've been really focusing on that connection. So focusing on a person that I do or don't know and thinking about like, what is the connection? Really, I want to feel the connection. I want to really contemplate it. I want to know what it really means to me based on what I believe. And then spend some time really contemplating what are the actions that go with that feeling, that go with that connection, and how do you know that you're in the right space of loving action that honors who you are and who that other person is too. So I think that we should all practice together. Yeah. So you should just start thinking about people, thinking about your neighbor, thinking about your family, thinking about the stranger who lives around the corner. Think about the person who lives, I don't know, in Bangladesh who you may never meet. And think about who they are for you. And who they are for you based on what you believe about your connectedness to humanity. What do you think about the politician who you don't agree with? What do you think about the guy who works at the grocery store who's mean to people? How do you feel connected to those people? You know what I mean? And then how do you think about them? How do you feel about them? How do you act towards them based on those connections that you say you have? I think it is a worthy pursuit. So anyway, this is something that we're going to have to all do together. I want to hear how it's going for you. So send me a message on Facebook or tweet me or something. Find a way to get to me. Let me know how it's going for you. Let me know if you came up with any good answers, and I'll share them with other folks because I think this is important. This is our work now, right? Learning how to live love. Anyway, that's all for now. Remember that together we are the love, we are the light, and we are the truth. And you know that no matter what, I love you. All right, until next time, live love. Mwah!